The following podcast is recorded and produced by the Podcast Precinct in affiliation with the network at bicbp-radio.com. The Podcast Precinct. Consistency, creativity, culture.
The Nostalgia Funhouse proudly dedicates all episodes in the loving memory of Connie Chirac. So, Johnny, I've been hearing really great things about this Nostalgia Funhouse. It just brings back so many great memories.
Andrew, the only reason I'm moving in line with you here is that you really vouched for this show. So I'm just going to believe you that this is the show that, I've been wanting, which is just talking about all the fun stuff from our yesteryear and the years before. And I really hate anything meta. So I'm glad that what we're doing right now is not that.
Oh, no, definitely. What is meta? Isn't that Ron Artesta's new name?
Well, add World and Peace to it, sure.
Yeah, but this is great. They last year they were tearing play sets and Halloween costumes.
Well, that sounds cool.
They get these weird court recordings from pop culture courts.
Does anybody care about court cases?
These ones are kind of cool. They put Scott Kelvin on trial. Poor old Santa Claus there.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, man. You know what's the best part about this is, though? Is I hear they always got a really great sponsor. You can check it out right there.
When you decide to step up to this kind of power, this kind of challenge, this kind of flying, crashing, feeling, when you decide to get serious, there's only one place to come: the games of Super Nintendo. No one else creates this kind of experience, because no one else creates these kinds of games. Now you're playing with power, superpower.
Happy New Year and welcome to a very special episode of the Nostalgia Funhouse. I'm Johnny, he's Andrew, and we got a special, awesome, incredible episode helped by you fans to bring to you today. Andrew, are you as excited as I am?
Yes, I am, because this is had a lot of fun putting these things together. A lot of fun talking to our friends and fellow podcasters to get their nominees, and I thought for this Hall of Fame, and I thought, if we just did it, it'd be one of each. Yeah. But
that's not many to choose from.
But if we could sprinkle in some our friends there of Brian, Matt, and Trevor, I think it would give it that spice that it needed.
Yeah. So let's tell you what we're doing. We're doing the Nostalgia Funhouse, hopefully annual, but this is the first one, Hall of Fame. And we're going to put in a movie, music, a toy. What's the other two?
TV
show,
video game.
How do I always forget video game when that's literally my bread and butter?
Yeah.
But that we're going to bring one of those. We're going to put one of each of those into the Nostalgia Hall of Fame. Something I'm sure all of them will be incredibly honored to be a part of. Mm-hmm. Just to be nominated, Andrew, is a big. It's a big deal. Now, how did I think, first of all, before we're getting into this, let's shout out the people that, you already kind of mentioned them, but let's really give them a really good shout out, the people who helped us with this. We're very fortunate to have some very awesome friends who also have podcasts and YouTube channels you should check out. Mm-hmm. I'll start with Trevor Franklin. He does the Cardboard Cave. It's a podcast. It's way more of a YouTube channel now where he reviews just literally random stuff. And he's very entertaining. Highly recommend it. Go check it out. But then we also got a couple others, don't we? That we went to, don't we, Andrew?
Yeah, we'll save a mutual co-host for last there, kind of, or former co-host for me, mutual co-host for you now. But we got Brian Finch of Crafting and Drafting, and am I missing one? Oh, and Airing of the Grievances.
Yeah. That's our Star Wars podcast.
Yes. And then
Andrew,
what
is the Airing of the Grievances? Is that because when I didn't come up with that name, Brian came up with that. If I remember right, Brian came up with that name. And I thought, oh, General Grievous, that's where it come from. That's my only thought. Is that a Seinfeld reference, actually?
Yeah, that's from Festivus.
Yeah, I got really mad when I discovered that.
That is, we talked about that briefly. I actually
Yeah.
said airing of the grievances.
Yeah, famously, I am not a Seinfeld fan. So I
Oh.
didn't even put that together. I'm going to bring that up next episode of airing of the grievances. That's going to be my main grievance I'm going to air. It's that.
You can't have anything Seinfeld related.
And who's the other person?
It is Matt Johnson from panel discussion, Colts fans and Bills land, Eat Sleep List, who actually sponsors when I do top fives on YouTube, or when Johnny does them as well. So they're the sponsor there. And what else does he's really cut back though? Panel discussion.
Yeah, he's cut back a lot. I mean, he's about to have a big life event, I guess you could say. It's a very positive one.
Yes.
But that's going to definitely take away some of his time. But go check out his shows. He's an awesome dude, a very good friend of Andrew's and I. And we highly recommend all three of those guys' stuff. They're all very creative, entertaining dudes.
Yes, they are.
But what we did is we had these 5 categories that we already mentioned, and each of us thought of one thing that pertained to that category that we put up to maybe being chosen by the listeners of the show and from the Facebook page. Which one of these would make it into our Hall of Fame?
Yes. Okay. So here we go. We have very first, I did toys. And I realized that if I want to make this the first episode of January, I got to start this in November instead of December. So note that next year, which I'll probably forget because I did not write it down. But
so toys, who are the nominees?
All right. So Johnny came up with a TMNT. He nominated, or came up with. He just
no, you're right.
Kevin
I
Eastman and Peter Laird. They didn't do anything.
No, I went to Eastman and Laird, and I was like, look, these turtles seem pretty cool. Maybe rude, but I think they need some toys. And they were like, you're stupid. You're dumb. We don't want to do that. And I was like, just give me one line and I will prove it to you. And now I'm really poor.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Did you know there's actually a parody song to Teenage Dirtbag that what's his name? Rucka Ali did, and it's like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle parody to it.
I feel like I've heard this. I've had to have.
It's pretty good. I just discovered it yesterday. I also just discovered Tupac was in Digital Underground, which blew my mind.
Wowzers.
Yeah. So Tupac was doing the Humpty dance at one point. They'll just okay, but back on track. So Johnny nominated the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles First Wave, which if you listened to our TMNT, what do we do? Rank them? Yeah, tiered them.
It's the 4 turtles. It's April. It's Shredder. It's Splinter, and I think Bebop and Rocksteady,
and a foot soldier.
Oh, and a foot soldier. Yeah, that's the first line.
The Army Builder. Johnny loves this line. I got a little bit of problems with it, but Johnny loves it. So if you go check out that as well. Trevor from Cardboard Cave came up with. I love it how he gave me the Lego set number, which was really kind of awesome. Lego set 6441 Deep Reef Refuge, which is kind of cool because it's like looks like a little like research station underground or underwater. Sorry. And the little submarine in there. So it's a cool Lego set.
Yeah. Trevor's a big Lego fan, just so people know. So I was not shocked by that nomination. Gotta love the Lego.
My nominee was the USS Flag, which if anybody listens to this show or any other show, when toys are brought up, I bring up the USS Flag.
Yeah.
The G.I. Joe aircraft carrier, 7 feet long,
It takes up your whole room,
Yes.
basically.
And will destroy your bank account.
Oh yeah, it most certainly will. It most certainly will. And I think so. And I would think if I do remember as a kid, whenever I found out a friend had one of those, I assumed that their parents were rich.
Yeah, I did not have one. Wanted one, but did not have one. Brian did Mighty Max. So if you know what Mighty Max is, it's Polly Pocket for boys, but Brian would probably get mad if he said it. I think that's why I didn't play with Mighty Max.
It's very awesome. But what I really appreciated Mighty Max for is that they started taking that concept and put it to other properties. Like Turtles did it, Star Trek did it, Star Wars did it.
I think X-Men did it too. I remember little comic books you could open up. And then Matt had the Lego Death Star. So 2 Lego products on here. Matt's not as good as Trevor, where he can know the set.
Yeah, Trevor might be a little bit nuanced with the Lego stuff.
I just saw there was a thing, and it was like you come home from working hard, and it showed Peter Quill, and I think it was at the end of like Endgame, or I don't know if it's Volume 2 where Thor was with the Guardians. And you know how like Peter Quill's looking at the team, and it's like pay bills, play with your kid, or spend time with your family, go grocery shopping, and then Thor's face comes in, and it says,
Yeah.
"Build Legos." I thought of Trevor when I saw that one.
Yeah, Legos do rule. But what we did is, or what Andrew did, I should say, put all 5 of these up to vote on our social medias. I'm very excited to find. I do not know any of the results of these. I purposely didn't. I purposely wanted to wait to find out if any of mine won. Very curious. I would from time to time kind of look at the voting and see. Like I would be very shocked if one of mine even got a single vote. I was very just saddened by that. But Andrew, out of these 5, all 5 of them, legendary toys, in my opinion. Which one of these is the first toy inductee into the Nostalgia Hall of Fame?
Well, Johnny, I got some good news for you. It's TMNT Wave number 1.
Go Ninja, go Ninja, go! That's what I'm talking about. Very excited about that. On behalf of Eastman and Laird,
Oh yeah,
as their other business partner, I, Johnny Townsend, and they endorse everything I say or think. This is obviously comedy. Please know that. But very excited about this. My all-time favorite toy and property, bar none. So I'm very excited about this. Now, I will say, Andrew, out of all 5 categories, this is the one that I was most hopeful that mine would win. So I'm golden here on out.
I'm not gonna lie. I figured it was either me or you. Like
Yeah.
one of our nominees were gonna win. I guess Ninja Turtles, I guess, is a little bit more of a memorable toy line than G.I. Joe, which breaks my heart in some form of fashion.
I think to people now, G.I. Joe for some reason is sort of I mean, people still know it, obviously,
Yeah.
but it's just not near as, I mean, the Ninja Turtles just had a movie come out last year,
Yeah. G.I. Joe, man. Yo, Joe.
Yeah, I need some more Snow Job.
It's a go job for Snow Job.
Yeah.
So our next one was music, where we did
Music. Who are the nominees for music for the Nostalgia Funhouse Hall of Fame?
I nominated the first CD I ever got from my favorite band is Green Day's Dookie. Sounds so weird saying it as an adult now.
That is such a great album, though. That album is really good.
And you know what's crazy is if you can find the CD where like the original releases of it, where there's that puppet of Ernie in the back, because later releases do not have Ernie.
Really?
Made them like Photoshop it out.
Oh, wow, because they
Like,
probably didn't have permission.
Yeah. So if you ever like flipped over the back, you're looking at the songs. There's a guy holding up like a stuffed animal of Ernie. And But on the later releases, it's photoshopped out. Little tidbit.
Now, I do have very distinct memory of riding around with my buddy Joe, and he has this, at the time, had a very
Billy
awesome,
right?
maybe, who knows, had a very awesome, when we were kids with cars, we put like the big radio subwoofers and stuff. He had that, but we were, instead of rap, we put on that Green Day album, because there's some killer guitar riffs in that thing.
I love this Green Day album. This is the first CD I ever got. Shout out to my Uncle Bernie for buying it for me, because I was just looking at it and he was like, "Do you have a CD player?" I did not, but my brother did. But I used to listen to it constantly. And it was this portable CD player, the one that you could literally not move.
Because it would skip.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
So our next nominee comes from Matt Johnson, which this one kind of shocked me a little bit, was John Denver's Take Me Home Country Roads.
Now, in fairness, that is a classic. I mean, just that song itself.
Oh, I got no problem with the song.
It's wild that Matt would think of that. Yeah.
Yeah, because if you've listened to the show, you've listened to panel discussion, we make fun of Matt for downgrading Barbecue and Reba McEntire, and here he is like, "Hey,
John Denver
gets played me back.
He gets played at barbecues.
John Denver takes me back."
Yeah, that is a great choice. I do love John Denver.
And Brian's pick was Crisscross. He had Jump, but we go on the album, so I believe it's just Crisscross.
Yeah,
which is iconic because
it is.
They wore their clothing backwards, and the daddy make you want to jump.
Yeah,
Crisscross.
Very classic. I definitely remember the style of clothes they were and become a thing in school.
Did you ever do that?
What, try to wear my clothes backwards?
Yeah.
Not on purpose.
But it was okay then. You know what? I never thought of that. Like if you
know what else? You know what else I remember from that time period? And I think it was sort of spurred on from this. Do you remember those hip hop Looney Tunes shirts?
I was just about to mention the Taz and Bugs Bunny.
Yes.
Looney Tunes were hot back in like the mid.
Yeah.
Like if you wore a Looney Tunes shirt, you were 100% fine.
Yeah.
Now my kids wear a Looney Tunes shirt. I don't think it's gonna work out too well.
My first girlfriend only dated me because I had a bug shirt. Had nothing to do with my personality nor looks.
You might have to help me with these next ones here.
Oh, is it mine?
Well, this one's Trevor. This one's
Okay, right, and Trevor. All right, just the background. Trevor and I are very much music nerds, so just know that going in.
I was like, I've never heard of these.
Yeah, I'll do my best.
I think a lot of the comments were like that, and I was like, they actually did get some votes. Yours did.
What was Trevor's nomination?
Porcupine Tree.
Yes.
In
Absentania.
Yeah.
Yes, that is a fantastic album. They're sort of like
I'm letting you take these next two.
Okay, they're like a how can I describe them?
Are they
progressive? It's like progressive rock, but with a lot of acousticness to it, if that makes any sense. That's the best way I can describe it.
I saw the album cover and I thought Tool for some reason.
Yes, but they're not near as heavy as Tool. Tool's way heavier than they are. But they're in the same vein, I would think.
Okay. They just go acoustic.
They're more acoustic. Their sound to me, and I haven't listened to this album in a long time, but their sound to me was always more atmospheric in a way.
And then the Decemberists?
Yes, the Decemberist. Which album did I put up there? I don't remember. Picker. I can never say it right. Okay. It's one of their earlier albums. They are like a.
I'm not telling him to pick the album, just in case.
Yes. I really like singer-songwriters who sort of tell stories with their songs. I really gravitate toward that. And they are a band that I would describe as like an indie folk rock ish type band, and they like one of the songs on there is literally all, and it's one of my all time favorite songs. Is all about this guy who gets swallowed by a whale, like Jonah and the whale, and it's all about that, and it's incredible. And also one of the best concerts I ever saw live was the Decemberists. So I love that band. So the fact that they even got a vote makes me very happy.
They actually got a lot. This one got a little bit more. So just off of the Nostalgia Funhouse page here, Trevor's got 50 and yours got 25.
Oh, Trevor's beat mine. He's gonna be very happy about that. I won't hear
Yours
the end
actually
of it.
beat out Crisscross.
Wow,
Crisscross
that
got
shocks me.
33. And John Denver got 101. So that leaves to the winner. The winner of them all, Green Day's Dookie.
Green Day's Dookie wins. I am not mad at that. I do love that album as well.
It's a good one.
I'm actually gonna go back and listen to it later today, I think. I really do like that album. And then I'm gonna follow it up with Decemberists. A good 1-2 punch.
Uh-oh.
What's happening?
I don't know if it's because these are old. Nothing bad. Nothing bad.
Okay, you just
No, nothing like.
you just said uh-oh. That is usually never followed by something positive.
No, everything. Yeah, it's nothing horrible. Nothing horrible.
No one ever goes, uh-oh, your life is about to get better.
Here's a miscalculation, it looks like, by me. So unless this jumped it at some point. But you know what? I'm gonna go what I got here. So I gotta change something. But next up is movies.
Movies. What are the nominees for movies for the Hall of Fame?
I nominated The Goonies.
A classic movie.
Classic, love it. Loved it when the Goldbergs talked about it, because I think if you grew up in or were born in the 80s, grew up in the early 90s type deal, The Goonies was a part of your childhood.
Yeah.
Don't know anybody that's really never said well, other than my wife, but she's a pop culture enigma in a way.
It's such a major part of the lexicon that other movies that are sort of like a group of kids going on an adventure will just always get compared to Goonies.
I've actually only heard one person say they didn't like the Goonies. That kind of grew up in that time period.
Yeah.
One person.
Have your kids seen the Goonies? I'm just curious if they like it.
Yeah.
Do they like
kids
it?
have seen RoboCop. Okay. So
well, that's another obvious kids film.
Just because you watched it as a kid doesn't make it a kid's movie. Gotta repeat that something to myself. Matt nominated Guardians of the Galaxy, which I'm not even going to get into with the controversy behind that, but nostalgia brings you back to a time and a place where you felt kind of warmth and good.
Yeah.
This isn't retro, this is nostalgia. So there's really no time period on nostalgia.
That's a very good point. I don't think people sort of try to link those two together. And I mean, they are in a way, but there's differences as well.
Yes. Next one is Brian nominated Batman 1989.
Keaton. Yeah, that's a classic. Are we going to get nuts?
I got some flack at work working with some younger kids because they were like, who do you think the best Batman ever is? And I just flat out said Michael Keaton. I said, and they were like, what about Christian Bale? And I was like, he's good, but Michael Keaton's my Batman in a way. Just like Adam West is the first live action Batman I ever seen.
Yeah, if you're going to cut out the animated series.
Oh yeah. Well, we all agree that that's the best Batman.
Yeah, anime. I think everybody kind of agrees. Yeah, with that.
Next one, Johnny, Jurassic Park.
One of my all-time favorite movies ever. That movie just changed. I mean, this is going to sound really cheesy, and I had seen Star Wars and all these movies, but I had just deep love of history and dinosaurs in general.
Mhm.
And this movie came out in '96, and I was 93. Is it 93 or 96? I can't remember. 93.
Yeah.
And I was 10 years old. And my aunt was like, "Hey, you want to go see this movie?" And I thought I'd be too scared to see it, but she talked me into it, and I just remember being in awe of, holy cow, there's dinosaurs walking around, and how cool it was. And on top of that, I will always argue that the Velociraptors in the original Jurassic Park are one of the best villains in a movie.
Yeah, you're a very big component of that, even though
Yeah.
Nemesis Enforcer could beat him.
He couldn't. That's fine, but he most certainly could not. And now they both could open doors. I'll give him that.
Yes. They both can't speak, though.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
They both
Well, the Raptors can communicate. I will argue that.
Okay. But yes, Jurassic Park is great, great movie. This was as my mom referred to it as we got older. My grandma wanted to take a nap, so she gave us $20. And this is when you could get dropped off at the movies with $20 and see a movie. And to age myself, she told us to remember to keep a quarter. If anybody know is around my age, they know what that means to keep a quarter. And then Trevor's pick is Lord of the Rings: Return of the King.
Yeah, I knew his would be one of the Lord of the Rings movies.
So
And I don't blame him. Those movies are incredible.
I liked this one, but then when I thought it was gonna end, I'm like, oh, it's all gonna end. And they're like, oh, we gotta go to Mordor. I'm like, you just did all of this and now you gotta go to Mordor?
My favorite memory is Trevor and I saw that one open a weekend. And the movie essentially has like two fake endings that make you think the movie's ending. And every time the audience that we were with, and it was a packed theater, got up to leave, and then the movie kept going, and they would sit down, and then they got up again, and then they came back and sat down. It was very funny.
Okay, so I'm glad to know I wasn't the only one.
No, you were not. You were not.
So, and the winner is an induction into the Nostalgia Funhouse Hall of Fame is Return of the King.
That, I mean, don't get me wrong, very happy with that. I love that film. Not mad about that at all. I just wish Jurassic Park had won, just to my little heart. But I do love that those Lord of the Rings films, so I'm not mad at that. I have to let Trevor know that he won.
I know that Goonies and them were neck and neck for a little bit, which once again, I think the 80s are falling off, man. 80s are falling off.
I think the 90s are becoming what the 80s were.
Yes, and I'm realizing that as I'm doing different posts and stuff like that for today in pop culture history. A lot of people don't. If you post into a 90s group, it doesn't. Certain things won't get the same vibe as in a group and vice versa.
Yeah, but I gotta say though, so far,
I
can't complain about any of these inductees at all.
No. Next up is video games.
Video games, of course, my all-time favorite thing. Love video games, loved them ever since a kid. Very excited for this category and very curious who came out on top here, because there's some bangers in here, some heavyweights going on.
So we have Trevor nominated Donkey Kong Country 2. I forgot to put the Donkey Kong into Country 2 when I was doing the thing, but Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy Kong's Quest. Brian nominated Super Mario World. Wait, where was that you?
No, that's him. I did 3.
Okay, you were Super Mario Brothers 3.
Yep.
And me, of course. Check it out on the Retroactive Sports Podcast YouTube channel. Me playing the greatest football game ever. Nobody could ever change my mind. Tecmo Super Bowl. That's what I nominated. And Matt, I knew this was coming. Crash Bandicoot for PS1.
I do love Crash Bandicoot too. I'm not mad about that. I'm not mad at any of these games going in. All these are classic games to me.
I gotta say, I've never really played Crash Bandicoot until about last year.
Did you get the when they like really what do they call that? They revamped the games and brought them out again, or did you play the original?
Been on my RetroPie.
Got you. I got you. Yeah. I mean, I played it both ways, so
You're a two-way player.
I am.
I don't know why. He was a cool mascot. I really wish he would have stayed Sony's mascot.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the other ones. Have you ever played Tecmo Super Bowl? The greatest
Oh, yeah.
game ever made?
I certainly have. It's not my favorite. I'd put it my second favorite football game. My favorite being the original NFL Blitz.
No, Jeff.
Well, you also got to realize I'm a basketball guy, so
Okay. Well, I'm going to tell you you're wrong as a football guy.
and I will accept that because you're a football guy.
There's only one thing I will just tell people they're wrong. Everything else, I will take your opinion on and say, okay, I understand where you're coming from. But when it comes to Tecmo, this is how much I love this. Love this game. Okay. So it's on my RetroPie. I have a multi-cart with it on there. I own the original cartridge. And then my lovely retro gaming store, the Gaming Vault. If you're ever in the Dallas Fort Worth area, go check out the Gaming Vault. Those guys are awesome. They're great, super nice. I bring my kids in there. My kids ask them questions. They don't talk down to my kids. They don't talk down to anybody.
That's very cool.
Great, upstanding people. Go check out the Gaming Vault. So I saw the Gaming Vault had another copy of this. And it was for $16.99. And I know what it goes for. It goes for about $20 to $30. I left work and I work at night. I left work and we got out early. I left work at about 10:30. I drove all the way to the Gaming Vault just to buy another copy of this game. And then I'm sitting there. I'm like, I shouldn't do this. I shouldn't buy this. I shouldn't buy this. I'm like, but I got a gift card. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna buy it. I need 2 copies of it after I've seen all these people on these Tecmo Super Bowl groups like have 2 copies and everything else. But I'm not getting this one graded. They're just gonna be 2 loose copies of Tecmo Super Bowl. That's how much I love this. I love that.
I mean, I bought Mario 3 multiple times, so I can't say anything.
Okay. So
Yeah.
Mario, let's get into Mario 3. This is my favorite Mario Brothers game of all time.
Mine too. Yeah.
I actually I don't know if you've seen it where it uses the Joe Rogan UFC thing where they like get excited because of the wizard.
Oh, yes. Yes. Yeah.
I think the wizard hyped this thing up so much that it just there was no way it couldn't be great. Super Mario World, great pack.
It's also a fantastic game. Incredible game.
And Donkey Kong Country 2 Diddy Kong's Quest, I've never really played. This is my wife's. This is the one thing I gotta say my wife actually plays is Donkey Kong Country.
That trilogy on a Super Nintendo to this day still holds up. Even graphically, those 3 games still look beautiful. And Trevor has always been a big fan of those Donkey Kong Country games. So I'm not shocked by that nomination there.
I was surprised he didn't go with Zelda.
Those would have been, I would have thought he either would have went with Zelda or Donkey Kong Country, just knowing him.
But the winner is Donkey Kong Country 2.
Trevor is making out like crazy here.
Yes. Trevor.
That kind of surprises me a little bit.
Yeah. Donkey Kong Country 2.
Because I didn't tell you this, but I made a vow to myself that next year I will not nominate the same ones I nominated this year.
Yeah, I was wondering if I was going to do that, but I'm not going to say anything yet.
I'm just going to say you had your chance to put in Mario 3 and you blew it.
I was shocked by that.
Yeah, me too. I do like the Donkey Kong Country games, but purely my opinion, they don't hold a candle to the Mario games. Trevor would definitely argue with me on that, though.
Would you really? I
Yeah.
agree with you.
I cannot stress how much he loves those Donkey Kong Country games.
The first 3 Marios versus the first 3 Donkey Kong Countries.
Yeah. I do suspect he'd pick Donkey Kong Country.
Yeah, I don't think. Well, like I said, this is a guy that lives and dies by Tecmo Super Bowl. So
we're all very nerdy in certain things.
each their own.
Yeah.
Each their
But-
own.
Still a good classic game. I can't be mad that it got in.
No, I don't think there's been one. Even if there's really no bad get-ins on this, because this is nominated all from our hearts and what we
Yeah.
find and have great memories watching, playing, or anything like that. So our final one is TV shows.
TV shows. Andrew, what are the nominees?
Trevor nominated Star Trek: The Next Generation. Brian nominated Home Improvement. I nominated Cheers. And Matt nominated The Bernie Mac Show, probably the most underrated show on this list. And Johnny, of course, I knew this one, X-Files.
Yes. Honestly, all these shows are bangers in my opinion. So I'm not going to be mad at whoever got in. I just know that at one point, I just glanced at this poll going on when you put this one up, and I didn't see a single vote for X-Files, and my little nerdy heart was sad for that
I'll
day.
look at what we got on the page here.
I know X-Files didn't win. I can tell you that much.
They had 8 just on the page.
8.
Because I did go to like the other shares that I did, because I had to do it with this one because it was pretty close. So I'll tell you I'll go over the 3 that weren't too close, but X-Files, Bernie Mac Show, and then Cheers were in like the bottom 3.
Did the Bernie Mac show have more than X-Files? Just out of curiosity.
No, I can't confirm total, but just on the page,
Yeah.
it had 1 more. Oh no, yeah, X-Files had 1 more.
Man.
Yeah,
So that means it's Cheers or Star Trek, TNG.
Cheers was in the bottom.
Oh wow!
Cheers was it once again. I'm really
Because it's an '80s show.
it's an 80s show.
I think you're right. Yeah,
Are the 80s really dying out? I think that's
it's because we're aging up, and the generation below us have more nostalgia for the '90s than they do for the '80s. That's what's happening.
oh man.
Which is really weird because honestly, most memories growing up of things that I really love are from the '90s. If I'm being honest,
I would say, yeah, mine's like late 80s, early to mid 90s.
yeah, same. Yeah,
I would say in a 10-year span of 85 to 95 was most.
I would agree with that. Yeah,
But the top 2, I saw it was close because based on just on the fan page or on our Facebook page here, Star Trek won, but only 2 behind it was Home Improvement.
what?
Yeah. So I wanted to do some research and I started going through the groups, checking out what everybody was doing, see what was going on. And the winner is Home Improvement. I almost said Star Trek because that's who that's what, but it was Home Improvement that one.
Wow. Now, Home Improvement was literally like the number one. I mean, people don't realize this now, but in the '90s, when Home Improvement came out, it was like the number one show on television for like 7 years straight or something like that. It was a ridiculous run it went on.
Launched well, Pamela Anderson was on there.
Yeah.
Wilson.
Yep.
A lot of-
Wilson was my favorite character. I love Wilson.
I wanted to know because I'm going to make this post for Saturday. Who would you rather get neighborly wisdom from? And that's
Oh,
Wilson or Mr. Feeney?
oh man. That
I
I think you should table that for a future episode where we talk about like TV show Neighbors.
All right. I think
it's a great
still
topic
gonna put
idea.
out the post. I got because I think it would be a great little post of who you'd rather.
All right, I got to go Feeney, but it's very close.
It's super close.
Yeah.
It's really close.
I know what Feeney completely looks like.
That is true. So there's actually a Lifetime movie where you see Wilson's face.
I remember that. Yeah.
It was horrible because then it kind of just destroyed everything for me.
Yeah, that's the part of the mystique with Wilson is that you only see his eyes, like about to the start of his nose, and that's about it.
But that was the great part of it.
And one of my favorite running gags with Home Improvement, and again, that was another show that my family watched growing up, because that's a show that both my parents actually liked. Usually I was watching shows with mom, and she was very much into sci-fi, so X-Files and stuff like that. And that's why I got into it. But Dad really loved Home Improvement, and Mom liked it, and I liked it. I don't know if my sister liked it. I couldn't tell you. I have no idea. But that's one that we definitely was appointment. It was appointment television for the whole family, basically. And my favorite running thing though is when Wilson would give the advice, and it was always really good advice. How would Tim mess up the advice that he would just been given when he was trying to explain it to whoever the situation called for? He would always mix it up, and it was always funny to me.
I always loved that.
All right, well, let's go over who's our official 5 first inductees into the Nostalgia Funhouse Hall of Fame.
The class of 2004, first ever inductee.
2024.
Oh yeah, 2000. I want to go back. Can I go back?
We all do.
2024, in the very first class of the Nostalgia Funhouse Hall of Fame. For our toy category, we have the first wave of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. For music, Green Day's Dookie enters. For movies, Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. I still love that line from Clerks 2 when he's like, there's only one return of, and it ain't it's the Jedi. Reign of the King. It's the Jedi. Donkey Kong Country 2, and that's the video game. And for TV, Home Improvement. So congratulations to all of you that have made this wonderful, wonderful first annual Nostalgia Funhouse Hall of Fame.
A shout out to all you listeners who voted and follow us on our social medias, the Facebook page and Instagram. We very much appreciate all of you. The fact that anybody even listens to anything I say, honestly, is pretty incredible to me. So I think I can speak for Andrew when I say we very much appreciate all of you.
Yes, we do. Thank you. This is always fun to do this. Like I said, the final episode is always fun to do this with Johnny, and it's always fun to hear feedback and just everything, just people coming out saying, I love your show. Hey, would you guys mind reviewing this? Because I love to hear what you guys say about stuff. Is just mind-blowing, absolutely amazing in every way.
Yeah, very much so. So thank you to all of you who made 2023 a really fun year to do the show, and very much looking forward to what we do in 2024.
Yes. And matter of fact, our next episode will be actually a request from Mr. Nico. Once again, we'll be reviewing the classic game show, Supermarket Sweep.
I am oddly excited to talk about Supermarket Sweep.
I don't know a person our age who isn't excited to talk about Supermarket.
Yeah. I may have a lot to say. Very excited for it. So stay tuned for that. Go again, follow our social medias. It's just Nostalgia Funhouse on Facebook and on Instagram. Andrew does an incredible job of keeping those up to date and posting on there. And that's also how you can reach out to us if you have like a show idea or something like that, something you would like for us to maybe cover in a future episode.
Yep. Check out the YouTube where we post if we do any fight brackets on there or anything else. I do unboxings every once in a while and do let's plays as well. And the top fives, which I got to do one for this month as well. But with that being said, what may not be nostalgia for you, may be nostalgia for some.